Have you ever wondered what life coaching sessions look like on the inside? Welcome to our first ever coaching session on the Life Coaching Show. The idea with these sessions is we meet new life coachees, and then all going well, we will have regular recorded sessions so we can track what progress they make on their journey to success, health and happiness. We can see what works and what doesn't work. Hopefully, you will also get plenty of useful and practical insights to help you on your own journey to success, health and happiness. We're about to see my first coaching session for the Life Coaching Show. The session is with a young lady called Laila. The beginning of this session is the first time I met Laila. I knew very little about her, and I'm also very new to life coaching. So you might hope that at least the technical side of recording and chatting goes smoothly. That is the exact opposite of what actually happened. And so before we sorted that out, the first 4 minutes of this is full of awkward pauses, miscommunications, and is generally cringe-tastic and unprofessional. I've left all that footage in, so the first 4 minutes is going to be a test of your endurance. That's why I've added in this little introduction, just so when you're in that first 4 minutes, you know there is light at the end of the tunnel. Good luck. Yeah. Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Excellent. Just doing some last minute microphone checks 10 minutes ago, and most of my microphones were weirdly not picking up on the system. And I was like, yeah, good timing. But yes, looks like we're sorted now. So one thing about this bit of software we're using,
Yeah.
it will be uploading the footage to a server. So if our connection gets dodgy, it won't affect the final recording because it will just be
Okay.
recording whatever you say to your computer and it patches it together later. So yeah, we don't need to worry about that. But it does mean afterwards, if you wouldn't mind just leaving your browser open for a little bit, because it sometimes takes another 5 or 10 minutes to finish uploading it to the server.
Sure. No worries.
Cool.
Can do that.
How was your weekend?
Yeah, it was good. It was nice. Nice extended weekend. Just spent with like friends and family.
Did you get to take the bank?
Sorry?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we've already got a delay in the thing. Did you get to take the bank holiday off?
Yeah, I did, which was nice. It was nice weather on Sunday, and then the rest was a bit kind of, grey, but oh well, at least because I live in London, so I went to go and see like the Chelsea Flower Show. Not sure if you're familiar with that. It's called Chelsea in Bloom.
The what? The Chelsea Flower Show?
Yeah, it's in like all around Sloane Street, kind of like Belgravia area as well.
I think I know one of the organisers of Chelsea Flower Show.
Really? Oh. What about
Yeah,
yourself?
I've never been to it, but
Yeah, no, it's nice. I mean, if you have hay fever, I wouldn't recommend because they're all kind of like real flowers, so the pollen count is quite high, but
huh. So yeah, we've got a very slight delay on our thingamajig. So we'll have to learn the skill of listening and pausing and all that kind of stuff.
okay.
Do you have a reasonable internet connection?
Yeah, mine's good. So I don't know why that might be the case.
Huh. Can you hear me all right? Is my one coming through okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Obviously, there's a bit of a pause in between. But I can hear you fine.
Cool. So I guess the first question is, do you understand what we're doing here in the format? And I'm not sure how much mustard models communicate all the pre-coms through.
How about yourself? What did you do over the weekend? Oh, did you hear me?
I'm going to just call you on the phone a second because something's not going perfectly.
Okay.
I'll speak to you in 2 secs.
Okay, no worries.
No, so you need your computer mic on, but your computer volume down.
Volume down, got you. Okay.
Perfect.
There.
So
Got there.
right. Anyway, sorry about all of that.
That's all right. I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? The way of life.
Yeah. So do you say you're based in London?
Yes, I am. I am based in London, yeah. I live in Shepherd's Bush at the moment, so West London. So yeah.
It's funny when I started using the Mustard Models agency years ago.
Yeah.
It's because they're Bristol based.
Yeah, they're Bristol based. Yeah.
I thought, I mean, I'll be able to find people local to me, but just seems models are in London.
All in London.
That just seems to be the. Yeah.
Are you based in Bristol then?
So I'm based in quite near Swindon. I don't know if you know Swindon.
Swindon, yeah. I've heard of Swindon.
Yeah, cultural capital of the world. So yeah, so it's a privilege. Yeah, I live about 10 miles outside of Swindon in like literally a countryside setting, surrounded by fields. Currently in a lodge, just surrounded by fields and cows and all that kind of stuff.
Wow, really living the disconnected life.
Rural dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the way this is going to work is we're going to just chat, and I'm going to start off by asking about your goals.
Of course.
And then one thing is, if you say anything that you don't want to be in the recording, just say as we go along, or you can say later and we'll edit it out. Because obviously we don't want you to feel too constricted.
Yeah.
Equally, anything you don't want to go on won't go on.
Of course.
And then, because it's quite a long session, if the footage works, then it'll probably be chopped up into smaller pieces and then put on the channel. Because probably no one's got a concentration span of 2 hours these days.
Yeah, I suppose it's quite long.
It is quite long. And equally, we'll probably have a couple of breaks as well, just because, 2 hours is quite long.
Yeah, absolutely fine.
So do you have in your mind an idea of what your life goals are?
Rough ideas. I mean, I'm very I try to not be too kind of fixed with what my, where I go with life. I like to take opportunities with open arms and just kind of experiment with a few things. But in an ideal world, it would be kind of working for myself, maybe remotely, owning my own business or marketing agency of some kind of description, because alongside modeling I do social media and content creation. So it would kind of just be having my own agency that could kind of offer those services, rather than working for someone or for just be my own boss essentially, and having that freedom of time as well. Because I think in this day and age, there's so many things that people want to do, and us young, especially because I'm in my early 20s, the idea of traveling and seeing new places is also kind of really important. So it's just having that work-life balance and kind of ensuring that I get a bit of both.
Is the because you said working online, is that because you want to work in different locations, or what's the reason behind the online aspect? I
think because online gives you the kind of possibility to travel and move around, rather than being set in one location. As for example, now I'm in London and I love it here, but I think in my opinion, life's too short to stay one place for a long period of time. Obviously, once you're settled and you grow a family, it's a different story. But whilst I'm kind of in my 20s, I want to kind of visit as many places as possible and explore as many things. So I quite like the idea of being able to travel around working.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So where are you kind of at now then in terms of any of that stuff? well, two questions then. What are you just doing now? What is your work?
Yeah.
And how far are you towards any of those things, if at all?
So right now I'm doing kind of freelance content creation as I recently just stopped working for like a marketing agency here in London. I was on like a fixed term basis anyway, so like my contract came to an end. And yeah, it made me realize I really wanted to kind of run my own clients and kind of do continue the social media element and creating content, but like on my own terms. So I'm kind of just really exploring that at the moment, reaching out to the connections that I have and just, yeah, making content for them essentially. So that is kind of where I'm at currently.
When you say making content, is that what does that is that
So
like filming yourself, or do you organize big things with other people, or
a bit of both. It depends on obviously who the client is. Say if it's like beauty or product related, they'll tend to send you the product and you just have to there'll be a slight brief as well, and you kind of film that. So like I'm not always necessarily in it. It can be unrecognized. It can just be showing the product, um, that kind of stuff. Or yeah, you get as you said, like you kind of do a bigger shoot where you kind of involve other models and other faces come in. So it just very varied. I mean, there's a really big thing around like UGC at the moment, which is called user generated content. So it's basically like as a user, which would be me or like any other person that would use a product, you kind of create this organic content in the hopes that kind of it makes the marketing seem more kind of approachable, more kind of do you know what I mean? Like it's not out of touch or out of reach of most people. And then there's that like relativeness that kind of then really like remains. So it's kind of along those lines. But yeah, it doesn't always involve me being in it. It's just a
so is
setup.
that as in marketing, as in so relatable as opposed to a fully glossy
Yes,
kind
yeah,
of,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
it's
So
like
it'll be
someone can
like
watch it and think that could be me in that
100%.
situation.
Like it's nothing kind of like high tech or like like campaign style. It's more kind of using an iPhone or like a good mobile phone camera, and shooting like that because then they would typically then put it on their social media, whether that be Instagram, TikTok. It's that kind of area as opposed to like big e-com shoots or like campaign shoots, um which they constantly can then post on their socials, to kind of create and that engagement essentially.
And how much of that are you, or I guess overall, how kind of busy are you, or is it tough to
It's
get
hard
to?
to like initially you do kind of have to just you know keep up and like not give up and really like work for it, like reach out to as many connections as you have, because you almost like building up your portfolio, you're building up your kind of experience. So like once you then gain the connections and gain the clients, different story, like work can come in a lot more regularly. It's similar to modeling in a sense that like when you're first, starting, it's difficult for it to be consistent. But if it's something that you enjoy and you really want to do and you keep going, there's no reason why like it won't happen. If you have those skills and the capacity for it, then it will grow. So yeah, it's at the moment it's kind of like in its early stages. Let's say that.
That's true of so many things, isn't it? So
Yeah,
a lesson in life I learned, took me a while to learn, but the consistency over a long period of time just crushes everything else. It's
exactly. Like you've got to have that consistency. Yeah, and just you know take that leap of faith as well. Like if it's something that you want to pursue, then I don't think there's reason to like hold off. Obviously, typically they start as side hustles and like you can have another job on the side, but yeah, it's just realizing if it's something that you want to focus on, do it.
um, do you have in mind and you don't have to give me the number, but like an amount of money you want to earn? Like, do you want to, are you super ambitious, or do you just want a modest lifestyle, or somewhere in between? Where are you at with all that kind of stuff?
Definitely, like, I mean, I guess in like 10 years time it'd be great to have like, you know, my own kind of team behind me, in a sense, like, you know, you build up to a point where it's like we're maxing capacity, like there's so much demand for the content that you physically can't do it all yourself, so then you have, you know, a team behind you. But as of now, I'm just happy kind of working in a way that like suits me, and then just seeing what happens. Like, I would say kind of in between, like it's good to have that ambition, but I'm also being realistic, as like, you know, as to far, like as to how far I can get, or like, and what is kind of like a realistic, you know, um I guess, I guess a realistic amount that I can do for these clients with what I know and like the experience that I have, um and like obviously the time, because like I've been doing social media for like a few years, but there's also other people who've been doing it for like 10, 15. So like naturally there is like, like they're going to have a bigger network, more trust in their clients, like relationships grow. So yeah, I'm kind of like trying to be, you know, just stay on track with what is reasonable at the moment.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So one thing I'm kind of doing in my mind at the moment, is trying to smash what you're saying against this kind of matrix thing that I have. And there's 8 things in the matrix, but the 3 I'm particularly looking at the moment is vision, day to day, and goals. So yeah, I'm going to ask a few questions relating to that.
Of course.
What's going to happen after this is, I'll rewatch this and put the information, or a condensed version of the information, into like a document, a kind of accessible PDF, and then I'll obviously give you that, and you can tell me if anything's wrong or needs tweaking.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds good.
But it sounds like, I mean, I know you said at the beginning that you're prepared to go with the flow, but it sounds like quite a lot has been quite thought through. Is that
True. I mean, yes and no. Like, I think I've taken like opportunities as and when they've come to me, but I don't know, it's kind of like you've got to have that slight vision, but also, you know, I'm not kind of opposed to like trying something new, or um say if I figure out that I enjoy something else a bit more, that's also fine. Like, I'm just going with what I know. So yeah, I think as well at this age it's so like, because everyone does different things, and it's hard like navigating where should I be, or like what's not normal, but like where do I sit in all of this.
yeah.
And I've got friends with like proper corporate jobs, and I've also got friends who've gone traveling. So it's kind of like finding that like happy medium, and in a way that kind of, obviously, you know, you've got to do what suits yourself and what makes you feel like fulfilled. So yeah.
So that kind of brings me on to my next question. Well, actually, that splits into 2 questions. So actually, I'm just going to go down a little subpath.
Sure.
So did you go to uni or anything?
Yes, I did. I went to Southampton Uni, and I studied, because I grew up in Southampton. So I studied fashion marketing with management. So I always knew that, like, I guess I wanted to go into like the whole marketing industry, and I enjoyed fashion. That's kind of why I did it. Also because I did like fashion, kind of like textiles at college. So I enjoyed the creative element to it too. So I guess that kind of, then if you streamline it, makes sense as to like, you know, why I'm doing this now. But yeah, so I went to uni. I graduated in July of 2023, so nearly 2 years ago now. So yeah.
And So you had a job with a marketing agency, and was that slightly corporate type style, or?
Yeah. I mean, it was hybrid. So we obviously, it was a 9 to 5 though. So it was Monday to Friday. It was 3 days in the office and 2 work from home. But obviously we also attended a lot of like shoots. And because obviously, yeah, with content creation, you kind of have to like sometimes be there in person to film. So yeah, it was kind of a corporate environment. So yeah, that was.
And did you enjoy? Because I know you want independence and to build
Mm.
your own thing. Did you enjoy the day to day, or was it not your cup of tea?
I did. I did enjoy the day to day. However, we were quite a small agency, so I like there was like a lot of responsibility per person to kind of get things done, which sometimes like I felt the pressure sometimes. But I did enjoy the whole because I'm quite like weirdly, although I say I want like, a remote job, I like the social interaction. So I did enjoy like kind of going in and like, yeah, like socializing and speaking to like a coworker per se. Um, but like I felt I was more productive when I was at home because I wasn't distracted by like anyone around me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like productivity versus kind of that social life. Um,
Got someone who's just started working for me, and they worked for me years ago, but they've been away. But they were doing a purely remote job, and
yeah.
now they're like, people. God. So yeah, I think people can get a bit lonely.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you need that
Yeah,
balance. We're humans and like we're social, to an extent social animals, so we need a
yeah,
bit of both.
absolutely. Yeah. So I used to think that I would love to just have infinite alone time. But when lockdown happened and my dream came true, I lasted about 4 days and was like, no, I need people. So yeah. Um, in terms of the day-to-day stuff that you were doing when you were with that marketing company, which bits of the day-to-day stuff did you like, and which bits didn't you like?
Um, I liked I liked a bit of everything, but there were days that like were busier, which meant that that whatever it was. So like for example, I guess within my job description would be kind of creating the content, capturing the content, editing, posting, engaging with our clients and our clients' audiences online, kind of like doing like account maintenance and stuff. Um, so I think obviously because I did it like editing was one thing that just was go go go. Like you do it every single day, so it could be quite monotonous sometimes, and especially it depended on what I was editing because certain bits of content I was excited about and I knew the vision and I knew where I wanted to take it. But like if it was something that I felt a bit kind of I don't I'm not like, excited by this, it was then hard to like translate that into something that like, would be an exciting piece of content to capture. So yeah, I think it was just relative to what I was like who I was editing for, what type of content it was I was editing, if I was inspired by it, um, and also like how much we had to do because days flew by because there was just so much to like get done that like one moment it would be, morning and the next it was like nearly the end of the day and you're like, actually, I wish I had a few more hours because I need to get more stuff done. So I suppose it was just like, yeah, if anything, I wish I had more time to like complete the tasks because they had to be done. And then if you don't get it done during work, then you kind of have to like dedicate a bit of time after work or like during your own time to get them done, which happened quite often. Um, so yeah, I guess that would be the one thing like I guess not that I didn't enjoy or like didn't like, but just there was no kind of switching off. Like it was very much like once, even if it's hit 5:30, if there's something that hasn't been done, like it needs to be done, kind of thing. Because there's like deadlines, and social media is an ongoing thing. It never stops. So there's no.
So if you set up your own thing, would you want it long term that I guess there was a reasonable work-life balance?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you're doing freelance, you choose your hours, you choose kind of like your work capacity, you choose how much you want to take on. So that is kind of one good thing that kind of comes with that, is that you can kind of make it work around your schedule, rather than, trying to get everything done for someone else. But as I said, like it's one of those things that kind of takes time to get to.
Yeah, because I guess I'm thinking a couple of things. I think the first thing I'm thinking is that's certainly for me a weakness, and obviously when I'm doing coaching, I have to try and coach people, even if it's something I'm bad at. But like, because I run businesses, and I can be very busy for long periods of time, and I tell myself, right, just take it easier, but
You don't.
I got there yet. But I guess the thing I'm thinking is sometimes to get to that goal of having a reasonable work-life balance, you kind of have to work through quite a lot of stuff to get there.
100%, yeah.
So
Got to hustle a bit at the start to then like
hustle. That's the
enjoy
exact right word. Yeah.
enjoy the freedom. I mean, to be honest, I am also looking for, because like I only finished working there like 3 weeks ago, so it's very, very fresh. And like part of me is like, I think I need, because also I like being busy, weirdly. Like, although I say, you know, I'm enjoying doing things in my own time, I also can get a bit restless if I'm just doing nothing. So I've kind of been like looking to see if it is like a part-time kind of similar job that I can do alongside like freelance, and then obviously as well as modeling, and then kind of just see what happens from there. And like at the end of the day, it's more connections, more money. Like there's like benefits to that. Um,
Um, what about free time? What kind of stuff do you like to do in your
in my free
free
time,
time?
honestly, with everything, like I'm either out socializing with friends, or I'm doing some kind of workout. Like I go to the gym, so I guess that's like I like doing that to kind of just you know decompress, detox. Um, yeah, and what else?
Yeah, I
I
mean
go for
that's
walks.
amazing. If it's amazing if you like working out, because obviously with a lot of people,
They,
part of the challenge I face is
yeah,
getting them to do that. What about are you into health eating and stuff, or are you
yeah.
not
I
worried
mean,
about that?
no, I am. I eat everything. I think it's important to have a balanced diet. And I intuitively eat, in the sense that when I'm hungry, I'll eat. Like I'm not trying to like stick to any um dieting regime or anything like that. But I always say do what works for you. But yeah, like I love food as well. Like, I want to eat good food. I want to eat food that satisfies me. So yeah, like that kind of that healthy lifestyle has also been like kind of implemented as well by like my parents. Like my dad's Italian, so I've been grown like my childhood has been kind of I've been given good like Mediterranean food in
Amazing.
my upbringing, so like I kind of have that within me to kind of keep that up.
You weren't brought up on fish and chips and
No,
all
no.
that
Although
kind of
I was
stuff.
born here in the UK, and my mum does love the occasional fish and chips. No, he was very much like, yeah, always kind of, yeah, a big advocate for like just good quality food, I guess. And it doesn't have to be complex. Like, it, us Italians, we love our carbs, and I love a carb too, to be honest. But yeah, so it was just one of those things that I guess because got used to eating not a certain thing, but eating well. I now keep that up, if that makes sense.
Do you cook for yourself, or
Yeah, I do. I do. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, obviously, I go out for dinner every so often with like friends, or if I'm out, like. But I try and cook as much as I can, and even like meal prep, depending on what I'm doing, basically. So I do enjoy it. Like, I think it's so much cheaper as well. Like, you can, if you buy food and cook it yourself, you're saving so much money.
I know you told me this a second ago, but I've forgotten. When was it you stopped your previous work? When did you?
So it was the 2nd of May. So
Oh, so really
yeah,
recently.
really recently, this month.
And since then, have you been busy the whole time, or have you found yourself twiddling your thumbs? Busy with work, I mean,
With
not
work, yeah. Work, it comes in like waves. I've had a few things going, but it hasn't been like super super busy. I mean, yeah, I've been busy like doing other things as well, but if you're talking specifically for work, I would say kind of quite stagnant, which is why I'm like considering looking for like another kind of similar position, or just even if it's something kind of fashion marketing related that I can get into alongside doing content creation. Just to have that stability as well, which is nice.
So the next bit is almost hard to explain what information I'm trying to extract from you. So I'm just going to go head on to start with, and then if that doesn't work, we might try around the houses a bit. But do you feel like you do you have anything that you might consider like a life purpose? So what we've talked about so far is visions and goals. That's stuff you kind of want from life and where you want your life to be. But do you have it like anything that springs to your mind as a specific purpose? And it's most people don't, and I have to ask a bunch of other questions to find my way there.
Yeah. But I guess just general happiness. Like, there's not like, it's that feeling of, okay, I'm enjoying this. I don't see like, okay, I want to be living here and doing this specific thing. It's more just like a feeling, and that purpose would be to just feel good in myself, and I guess live the life that kind of I would feel fulfilled doing. So I guess no, but I don't.
Okay.
It's a weird one because it's like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a few different questions.
Yeah,
maybe we're going to scratch that line.
Dive into it.
When do you ever? Well, I mean, do you watch the news, or presumably? So between the news and your general plugged into the world, however that information comes to you, what stuff creates an emotional reaction in you?
Well, I don't watch the news really. All my knowledge of what's going on, I guess, in the social environment or around the world would come through social media, I guess, or like just through talking to people. So you were saying, what sticks out to me? No.
What emotionally resonates with you, either makes you feel good or makes you feel bad?
The news.
So so by the way, I'm the same. I don't watch the news, but somehow or other that information gets to me, whether I want it to or not. But for example, so here's an example with me, which is probably going to make me sound like a psychopath, but there we go.
No.
When I hear stories of like human trafficking, it immediately resonates. I hate it and want it to end, obviously. But when I hear stories of starving children in countries that I haven't heard the name of, for whatever reason, it doesn't resonate with me. It doesn't bother me. Obviously, I would love that to not be the problem, but it doesn't create any kind of emotional.
Okay.
So that shows me something about myself, because this bad thing has an emotional effect on me and this other bad thing doesn't. So yeah, is anything when you hear it that it particularly jars with you, or if it's a good thing makes you feel good?
To be honest, like I kind of try and disassociate or stay away from the negative stuff. So like I guess in that respect, like if I hear something in regards to, I don't know, something that's kind of, I guess, relevant to me, then I'll be like, okay, that was stemming an emotion. I'm trying to think of an example now, but like, I don't know. I can't think of anything now. But yeah,
Yeah.
I try and like not block out, but like I don't want to absorb too much of like the negative things, or like if there's something that even like something that's happening in our government or something like that. I don't want to go into politics necessarily, but like I'm just like, what can I do about it? Like obviously, yeah, you can vote and stuff like that, but like physically there's nothing, like I can be upset about it or whatever, but it doesn't. Whereas, so I guess I kind of latch onto the things more that the happier things, or like the things that say if something comes up that's in like about I don't know, a holiday or like uh a certain celebrity, that's when I'm like, okay, now you've got me listening. So a bit more gossipy. I guess. I don't know. Like it's hard because like now I'm trying to think, how do I absorb the information that I get?
It's one of those things, and now I've asked this question, you might start noticing
Yeah, I
it.
probably will
You
now.
might, yeah.
But beforehand, I didn't really like think about it too much.
When this is kind of a leading question, but when you do projects and then you give it to the person, are your emotions affected much by whether they like your work or dislike your work?
I'm a people pleaser. I always think about how is someone gonna like perceive me or see me if I like don't not conform, like I don't know, I just get in my head about things. Like I do like to, yeah, I guess if I've done a task for them or something like that, their feedback would be important to me because it's like, okay, that's obviously how they then value and like see me. So I'm like, okay, it needs to be. And even like in my day-to-day thing, like life, like I'm always, because sometimes I may not do something because I'm scared of what others may think of me, but yet everyone's living their own little world. So, and I know this, but I think it just comes with time. Like I've got friends who are nearly like in their 30s, and they say like as you get older, like you care less about what people think and you do what's more right for you. So I think that's just like a potentially a generational thing. I'm not sure, but yeah, definitely I do like to feel validated by that person that I've done something for.
So yeah, that's all very helpful. So what I'm looking for in this matrix we're working with is to have at some point in the back of our mind and define it also on a piece of paper, like what your purpose is.
Yes, yeah.
So that everything can line up. And with all of this stuff, people's lives go better if they line up their purpose, their goals, the lifestyle they want, what they want in their day to day, and then of course you have to get down to plans and the steps in those plans. Yeah. If anything within that is out of alignment, then it slows things down. And I think with the purpose, I'm kind of getting an impression of what yours might be, but obviously it's there's a danger anyway to me just spelling it out.
Okay.
But I probably will, because I've got to do something. I probably will at some point, but it's one of those things that it might be that it gets tweaked or abandoned or that kind of thing. It's just but the purpose will be focused around it's kind of less to do with you and more what you're giving the world or the humans or whatever. So yeah, the two things that are sticking out to me on that at the moment are the I guess you could say just liking positive and relevant information. So it seems like you don't like negative, irrelevant information, or by irrelevant, I mean stuff you just can't do anything about.
Yeah. I think that's correct.
And the kind of people pleaser stuff makes me, I'm kind of erring towards this. So if you're doing the marketing, whatever it is you're doing, you're in part doing it for the end product, for the person, because obviously if their reaction is important to you, it's not just about, I just love editing videos. A part of you must be thinking, and I want this person to
feel
really
a
like the
certain
product.
way.
So that's kind of where I'm going with that.
Okay.
That's something I will mull over when I watch all this back. And so yeah, the other thing on the list is and I don't know if there's a good name for it yet, but serenity, peace, balance, and happiness, all that kind of stuff. I think you kind of touched on some of that stuff. But I do have a few questions anyway on that. Yeah. What activities make you feel kind of peaceful and at one with yourself? Like, do you care about nature? Do you care about walks, socializing, philosophizing?
If I want to be really at peace, like my idea of peace would be laying on a sunbed in a hot country, just listening to like just being on the beach, like with literal like noises of the ocean and the waves. And I do like going on walks. Like I think that's the best way to like clear my head, is just being at one with nature. But it's funny because I couldn't be in like, for example, because I'm such like a on the go person and I like socializing as well, I need that city balance of, okay, I need things to do, but as an escape, I enjoy, doing things like that because it's just so kind of freeing and just, you can just really relax and not have any issues or any other thoughts on your mind, basically. So yeah.
Do you ever do meditating, or is that not really your?
To be honest, it's something I want to get into more because I'm very much like I know that like vibrations and like the frequencies of like how you like certain sounds and stuff can really kind of help clear your mind and just relax your body. So that is actually something I want to get into because I was speaking to a friend about it quite recently. And I'm very mindful as well. Like I like kind of not allowing the universe to do its thing, but I'm very kind of like intuitive and mindful in that kind of sense that I don't know, I take in more than like that just what meets the eye sometimes. Because I definitely believe that there's like obviously energies and things that surround us that we can't see like to the naked eye, but like they're there and kind of, I don't know, can pick up on like emotions, can pick up on like your like how you're feeling. But yeah. Now we're going into a whole new avenue.
Well, I don't have any emotions, so gonna get a blank wall there. What would you say? Okay, yeah, sorry,
That's
massively
right.
changing subject now. Do you have in your mind an idea of what your strengths and weaknesses are?
My weakness is I'm quite impatient. I would say very and indecisive. Impatient and indecisive. I always think, I don't know, the grass is greener, and I'm always like, oh, is this ever like I'll do something or achieve something, but I'll be like, oh, or meet someone and be like, oh, is there something more? Like, am I missing out? Like, what I like to like, I wish I could like assess all options and then go from there and almost like know what the options are. But obviously, that's not life. You can't do that. So I would say, yeah, indecisive, because I think that indecisiveness also stems from kind of like knowing what the right decision is. But like, you've just got to trust your gut and go with something, and then what will then kind of materialize after is what I'm kind of trying to learn or like tell myself. Because that's the thing, like I think you can make an initial decision and then that sets like it's like the domino effect, like that then sets things into motion. So I think that's why sometimes I'm like, oh, is this definitely the right thing? Like, I made the right decision, but you just got to trust that whatever you do or whatever happens is the way that, you know, your life is supposed to go. So yeah, going back to my weaknesses, I would say indecisive and impatient as well. I just expect things to happen like this. Don't know why.
So does the indecisiveness result in procrastination and sometimes not doing anything? Or
No, I wouldn't say it's like that. It's more like almost overdoing my options to the point where I'm like, now where do I want to go? It's not. I wouldn't even say it's procrastination. It's more like, I'll get somewhere, and then or like do something, and then be like, oh wait, but is this definitely A, what I want, B, the right thing for me, C, I don't know, it's almost like I'd rather have multiple options and then go from there rather than just, it doesn't stop me from doing stuff because I'm you know, I get things done. It's more so like, I don't know how to explain it, but is this like the right route? Is this where I should be right now? Yeah, in that kind of respect. So like I still achieve things and I still do things and I still reach whatever I need to reach, but I will, at the back of my mind, I'm like, should I have gone down like the other way? Or like, should I have done this differently? Yeah.
I think that is common with people in their 20s in general.
Yeah.
Because obviously decisions you make now, or they feel like
they're
going
to
to
impact.
set the course for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
You get to 70 and be like, oh, when I was 20, I should have become a fisherman or whatever it is. Do you like doing admin work?
I don't mind it, to be fair. I feel like I'm quite like in terms of my own scheduling and planning, I quite like to do that and like write to-do lists and sort out things just for ease. So yeah, I mean, I don't find it too boring. Admin's fine for me.
What about academic stuff?
Academic, I'm definitely more kind of what's the word? Not literature over maths, but I guess so. So like, yeah, like I would say I'm more good with words and numbers. If that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I also then saying that science was always a really like intriguing subject to me. And obviously that's a combination of both essentially. And like beyond that, like obviously, you know, it's research and stuff. So yeah, I think academic wise, I mean, I got good grades in my GCSEs, A levels. So yeah, academically competent, but I've also got that creative element to me, which is kind of like, I guess, what I'm trying to like zone in more on now. So yeah, I would say like average academic. Like I'm not, you know, I was kind of like mid-set for most things. Like I wasn't top, I wasn't bottom, I was just in the middle at school.
I feel like I want to keep pressing the weaknesses one. I know it's a bit negative, but I think two weaknesses isn't enough weaknesses. So
that's what comes to mind.
What else?
What else? What have I said? Indecisive, impatient.
I mean, you might just be perfect, and there's nothing you can do about that.
Nobody is. Those are the two that spring to mind that I just know I am. Then I'm like, I definitely probably are others. I guess I compare a lot as well. Like, it's easy for me to kind of compare, like, not even just life, but like lots of things about myself to someone else. So yeah, I don't know, maybe that's another weakness.
Yeah, I'll take that.
What else? Yeah, I suppose like, I guess if we're talking about kind of could I do anything involved in finance? Probably not. Like or like related to something really mathematical, that would be, I guess, a weakness, because like my basic maths is fine, but anything, advanced probably wouldn't be up my street, kind of thing.
Um,
and to be fair, like even like the pressure sometimes can be a weakness. Like if someone applies pressure onto me, then like for example, when I was like university, I was never a last minute crammer. I always took my time, because then having that added pressure then made me kind of, I guess, just be unproductive, because I'd have that at the back of my head rather than focusing on the task at hand. Obviously everyone works differently, but like, I was never a last minute crammer. Like I like to space things out in a way that I know I can do my best, because like I knew that if I had a deadline the day after, I'd just be stressed and I wouldn't be able to get it done properly because of the pressure.
Interesting, because when we talked about the things you like to do at work, it seemed it was less about the things and more about other contexts. Like if you were engaged in that specific project, what the person at the end might say, how if it was too busy or stuff. And it's the same what you're saying with the studying, and I guess just with pressure. So it's almost less about
the job
so that
itself.
was about what you
that
was about what you enjoyed, and it was related to other things. And then now we're talking about what you're good at, and it's almost like it's still related to other things. Like if it's the right amount of pressure and the right circumstances, then you're probably good at stuff. But if the circumstances are wrong, you might be bad at those exact same tasks.
Kind of, yeah. That really just I guess
Interesting.
Impacts me.
Okay, cool. I'm going to suggest we do a 5-minute break, and we'll just leave it recording,
Sure.
but we'll hang up the phone. And then I'll call you in 5 minutes, and then we'll start to talk about plans and steps. And so the way it's worked out with Mustard, where basically this first one is 2 hours long. So normally I would have wanted this first one ideally to be an hour long, and then I'd have done a whole bunch of processing before we started talking about this next stuff. But we don't have that luxury, but that's fine. But yeah, we'll start talking about plans and steps. And if this goes well and we're both comfortable with it, and we want to set up something where we chat every week or every 2 weeks or something, then we can track all this stuff, how it evolves, and that will give me more time for thinking in between time. So I guess what I'm saying is my mind's not going to be in the perfect place when we talk about steps and plans, but it will be fine.
That evolves, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds great.
Awesome. So I'll call you. I'm going to leave this all recording, so don't touch your browser or anything like that. But yeah, I'll call you back in 5 minutes on the phone.
Should I keep my camera on? What happens?
Just don't touch anything.
Cool. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. I'll speak to you in a bit. Bye.
I'm realizing just shortly before we're about to release this video that these videos could really do with an outro as well as an intro. But I haven't really had time to script anything before we're releasing it. So yeah, that was the first part of the chat with Laila. And in a future video, there's going to be the second part of the chat, as well as videos with new coachees. And we have agreed with Laila to do more sessions, so we'll get to see her life progressing. But anyway, instead of a scripted outro with words of wisdom, I'm going to bring you small cows. Look, they're tiny. They're under the grass. So, yeah. They're treated very well, these cows. They even get names. Ironically, despite being tiny, this one is called Big. This one is called Whopper. And that one is called Mac. And if you got that joke, then perhaps we need to work on your nutrition.